All right, so anyway, because I've seen so much on Facebook and social media and other things about different questions that abolitionists have, and I've been doing this for a little while. I don't have all the answers, but I have some. And so this is kind of an abolition ism 101, kind of the technical or the technology side of it, and some tips and tricks that we've learned over a period of time. Of course, in the background here, we kind of upgraded to a bus. So as far as that goes, and inside I've got a speaker on the inside that I can talk on a microphone. Some of you guys have trucks or cars or whatnot. That actually is a really good way to reach people driving through town or sitting outside of different places. So we use that from time to time. And then on the bus itself, and there's different ways to set up, again, with personal vehicles. I know that Kevin Myers uses windshields and other things to put his things on, but I put a rail here to attach a sign, and then this sign in particular is bungeed around the windows, but I've also got a cable that I can line this whole bus on both sides with graphics to do different things. And then we always carry a stool for different things, for preaching or for getting up here and doing different things on the bus itself. And then what we've seen in a lot of cases, especially in well, anywhere you're holding a graphic image, people want to block it. So I've done a video on this, on how to build these, and I've built some shorter ones that the sign comes right to 6 foot, but this is actually a 20-foot window washing pole that I've done a video on, like I said, on how to build it, but it gets your sign up and out of harm's way, or to where it's actually able to be seen by others, and that's super critical. And then again, if you use the step stool, you can get another 3 feet higher on top of that, so that's always a good thing. Of course, wind with these poles is always a critical thing, and as you notice, I've got actually 2 signs on there, so you don't see the pole, and I've got front and back on that. Another thing that, of course, we always carry with us is just a gospel banner, and we've gotten to making our own gospel banners and building our own frames for those different things, and we go buy a pole that we can extend and expand for about $10 at a local store. For us, it's Fred Meyer's. For you, it might be something different, but that's an easy fix for a lot of things instead of spending big money on some of this stuff. Just have to find your way around it and make that work. So, moving on, we've got again more graphics, and this is something that Todd Bolus and Mike Tringali were doing, building some supports for the sign so they can make basically a teepee out of them. And you can see down here, it's just this is actually 10 gauge tie wire that I bent both sides, made them even, and then put a bungee cord between them, and then a small clip up top to hold the tops together, so you can use them in all kinds of different ways, and they're very sturdy. I've seen Todd climb in the back of a truck to retrieve one before, so they're actually very sturdy, especially in windy conditions. So here again, a tool that I think most of us have, if not probably should have, is a wagon, especially if you have children. A wagon with bungee cords, and we use it to tie up the signs of different ways. You can set the wagon. I usually have some weight in there with coolers or other things, and then just use the bungees to hold up signs. All my signs, some smaller signs from Seattle, are double-sided, so that I can do different things with the signs at different places. Different people can hold them depending on what their comfort level is at holding them. And then we've actually got another sign from Mark Mayberry that lists the laws or whatnot in your particular state when it comes to abortion. So you can show the people, the pro-lifers in particular, what laws do or do not have in your state, and how they can actually be a benefit or a hindrance to the abolition of abortion. Alright, so let's see, what do we got here? So I got a variety of amps that I've collected over a period of time from the tailgater amp to just a regular Acura or Acre amp with a speaker, and then a small megaphone that I used to use, you know, all of these things a lot until, of course, my wife bought me the Thunder Power megaphone, and I've started using that. Of course, I hate having stuff on me. I just something about being able to use my hands to either talk to people or preach, either one. So I went as soon as I got this megaphone, and I got a wireless setup. It's the Beecham wireless setup that I can plug in with an adapter. I had to buy a 90-degree adapter because it gets in the way of the cord if you do put it on your shoulder. And all these parts just come out. It's very, very handy to have, and that snaps on like that. Just put that on, turn this guy on, and turn this guy on, and they should sync together here, which they have. And then, so I've got batteries for it that I have here, and but when I'm using this, I like to keep it in a place if it's at all possible. Again, I don't like holding on to stuff or having stuff strapped around me. So it works really well. I've already plugged this into my truck. It's got a 12-volt power source that plugs into a cigarette lighter that you can use just like this, and you can set it up and you can direct it the direction that you want, and you can have hands-free operation of that, and it works out really, really well for me in most cases where we can have a vehicle or something nearby, the bus, on top of the bus, in a variety of situations. So again, I like the hands-free portion of that. So let's take that down and take this off. Okay, so go over here. So let's see, in my box of goodies here, first I had the batteries, and then I've got a bag full of all kinds of different cables that I use for charging and other things, and then reusable or Velcro tie wraps, which are a handy thing. And also I have a reusable rubberized tie wrap that I can wrap around light poles or other things and twist together and then hang a camera from, because if I'm ever out alone and I've got a camera on my chest, I'm not seeing what's going on behind me. And there's actually some pretty interesting things I've caught on video, things going on behind me. So it's a good thing to have. One of the other things, especially with these body cameras, summertime, if you're hanging them on your shirt, it just over a period of time drags your shirt down. So I was looking at different ways to stop that. So I got some lanyards, and I just turn them backwards basically, and put them on and tighten them up like so, get them about to my neckline, and then the camera actually hangs on that lanyard and on my shirt, and then you can tuck in the other part in behind. But that's a good way to hold that camera and not have to worry about dragging down on your shirt or your collar there. Other things in here is a battery pack, handy for everything. My waistband amp, more lanyards, waistband amp, and corded microphone on that, and then another corded microphone. And I've got some other wireless stuff in here that's not super critical, but I've built my own battery boxes as well to hold the amount of batteries that I need for the equipment that I'm using, because the ones you buy at the store, well, they're expensive and they don't have the things that I in particular wanted. So I built my own because I had the stuff here. So this other case, screwdriver, different types of screwdrivers, tape, and baggies for the speaker or the speaking ability on those to make sure you don't fill them full of water, and then spare parts and whatnot for my pole. And other amps. So on the cameras in particular, I used to use a GoPro a lot, not so much anymore, but when a lot of times I was using just the regular batteries that came with the GoPro, and I've got a bunch of them in here that I just had to keep charging, and just couldn't keep up with it, just not enough. So I went with one of these little battery packs, and you can actually take these packs, and so the GoPro has this little case on it, and I drilled a hole in the side of the case where the power outlet was, and I would take this battery pack and slide it in this harness behind the camera like so, and then take the cable like so. That's not it, that one. And you can plug it in here like that. And then I'm not going to do anything fancy with the cable right now, but then just bring it around and plug it into your camera, and you've got all kinds of power for all day to keep this camera running by doing it that way. And you don't have to worry about these little batteries that tend to be expensive and not work near as well. Another thing I found with the GoPro is out in the sun, it doesn't operate near as well. It doesn't last very long. It doesn't like the sun. So I started using one of these chili mini, just little things you put around your neck. You get wet, and then you wrap around your neck. And I can moisten this with a bottle of water, wrap it around here just to keep the sun off of it and keep it cool. And then again, I use Velcro tie wraps to keep that in place. And it seems to work out really well, no matter what the sun is doing to you at that time. As far as cameras go, also keep all your footage as much as possible. Don't just delete your footage because you don't have the storage room for it. We've got an external hard drive that we use specifically for evangelism. They're not that expensive, and I download every video to that, and then I can go through them and really delete the ones that are meaningless. But that way I have all the video, and if I get around to the time to actually create a video, then that's good too. I used to carry a backpack, and I had an adapter that I tie wrap to the arm so I can use a backpack, same as a chesty, but I have it up here on my shoulder instead. All right, so that's most of that stuff. My bag that I carry, used to carry a backpack again, but now I've gone to a shoulder bag just to keep stuff in. An essential, again, tie wraps. I keep those around because they're helpful in many different things. And then inside the bag, on the outside here, even for personal protection, or if you're out at night, flashlights work really well for personal protection. You can shine them in somebody's eyes, and it's very beneficial. Then I've got a multi-tool and a roll of tape, and other things. Lens cleaner in here, and I've also got earplugs for those that are facing death scorts, that they're screaming in your ear, or they have their own bull horns. Earplugs are kind of essential, or I use earbuds. I even use these at work to cancel out noise so that I don't hear everything that's going on. Things I have in here: pairs of socks. You run into homeless all the time. Another chili mini, and then just a variety of all kinds of quad folds. I've got cough drops. I've got another setup for my pole just in case something happens to one. I've got foot powder in here buried down there in the bottom for again to go with the socks, because the homeless, besides water, really need socks and foot powder for their feet. And then my wife made me a listing of all kinds of different scriptures that I can use in preaching to help jog my memory and to help move me forward sometimes when I'm, well, you're not always going to have the words to say when you're preaching. And then Bible, Gospels of John, different things in here. I've got some things in particular for the pro-lifers out there, about the biblical response that my friend Mark Mayberry wrote, which is really good stuff here as well. Complete. It's not a partial explanation, it's a complete explanation for anybody that's actually willing to take the time to read it. So that's basically it that I have in the different things, different tips and tricks that we've looked at over the period of time. So again, if you have any questions or comments or other ideas, post them in the comments. Again, I've got the videos. I can get you Todd Bolus's video on how he made the supports for the TP on the sign, or I can give you the video for the sign pole that I've made, and just different things. So just so we can keep each other moving forward. We learned so much about abolitionism and what it is in comparison to the pro-life movement, but these are just different things that you can use in your everyday battles out there on the street. The Lord bless you guys.